Rightio then, hello, welcome to my video. It's another foundation video where I just basically record a whole week of my time in foundation art, compile it all together in a little video. So first off, I thought I'd just show you my book so you have a better idea of what's actually going on and what's happening, what's the project. So to fill you in, basically this whole project I'm aiming to make a children's book for around ages 3 to 5. And it will have a sort of magical, mythical element to it, with little fairies and pixies and goblins and little tree men and trolls which live under bridges, things like that. So here's a few little pages in my book of sketches and just generally how the idea came about and all the pages and the research which lead up to it. And I came up with these two characters called Bean and Bog, little mushroom people, and they're part of the fungus family. Which I thought was quite a smart idea. And so the whole idea for the book is they get lost in this magical woods, and whilst they're trying to get home they come across all these weird little creatures, and that's about as much as I've come up with. I haven't really fully figured out the story, I haven't storyboarded and figured out what's happening on every page, but I have a general idea of the characters and the plot. So what you're seeing in this video is what we call in foundation, what do we call it? Forgotten. What's the word? It's gone from my brain. Exploration. We call it exploration, which is basically you just got to try out a bunch of different medias and art supplies to figure out what you want to use for your final piece, and also just trying out different styles maybe. That's basically what I've been doing in this video. So in this drawing that I'm doing right now, well, drawing / painting, I'm using watercolour combined with coloured pencils, which has to be one of my favourite combinations. I'm quite the fan of that. And well, I would like my book to have an interactive element to it, because when you're a kid, you're just a bit more drawn to the books which have little pop-ups and flaps and tabs that you can open and pull. It's just a bit more exciting, so I want my book to have that. So the head that I was just drawing then is what's gonna move up and down in this piece. So this is the background which I'm painting now, and then the head will slot in. I'll cut a slot at the bottom. Oh, there you can see acting it out. It will move up and down, so it's like it's poking up from the ground to add a little fun interactive element. So this is just me just trying it out, basically seeing if it would work, having a go at it. So I guess I'll talk you through a little bit of what I'm actually doing. So how I started, the background, I did a little bit of a wash of just a sort of brightish yellow tone, went on top of it with a darker green just to sort of add a silhouette, and then my favourite bit is when I whip out the coloured pencils and I just start adding in just blocks of colour and leaves and decorating it. I really do enjoy doing these background sort of things, being a bit looser with it and quite simplistic, but I really do think it works quite well. Especially I really like the way I do the roses, just adding like a pink highlighter and then just doing the lines on top. I am a fan of that. Oh, and just look at him, he's poking his little head out, he's saying hello to the world. Oh, he's cute, he's a cute boy. And then the rest of the day I didn't film it, but I'll show you what I did. I carried on messing about with pop-ups and flaps, so I just made a simple pull tab thing with a mushroom that I drew last week. And then a little prototype for a big pop-up, and here it is. Oh wow, so magical, so beautiful. I actually really am happy with this. Big pop-up scene, which I think worked quite well maybe at the end of the book as like a final page. I think that'd be quite nice. Anyway, moving on to Tuesday. On Tuesday I was doing a bunch of digital stuff, so I thought I'll try and replicate the style of my work when I'm using coloured pencils and watercolour and try and recreate that in digital, to just see what it would look like, because figure out what I should make my book in. Should I do my book in digital or hand rendered? I've got all these questions and I've just got to figure out the answer. What's going on with my book and what am I going to make it out of? So you got to do your experiments to figure out what you like best, which is why I'm doing the digital. Is it my most favourite thing to do? Maybe not. I don't mind doing digital, I just have to be in the right mood. Because I don't think you can't beat the good feeling of the pencil on the paper. That's my opinion. But at the same time, digital does have a lot of pros there's the whole, the undo button and just being able to create a new layer. Very, very easy, very, very nice. But at the same time, sometimes I feel like there's too much choice when you're doing digital. It's like you've got all the colours in the world available to you. So I'll spend a solid 5 minutes just trying to pick the perfect shade of green. But when I'm just using my coloured pencils, I have about 5 shades of green to choose from. And I've just got to work with what I've got. So there's pros and cons with each, really. But I think for my book, I'll probably go down a more hand-rendered route, but maybe with little digital bits sprinkled in between. I haven't quite figured it out yet. Well, I'll get there eventually. Anyway, what am I drawing? Of course, more mushrooms. I cannot tell you how many mushrooms I have drawn within this past 2 weeks. I've gone a bit mushroom mad, and to be honest, I'm quite sick of seeing mushrooms. No, actually, I lie. I love my little mushrooms. Drawing them. The ironic thing is, I do not like mushrooms at all. They are disgusting. I do not want to eat one. Take them away from me, please. Thank you very much. It's enough about my hatred for mushrooms. What's going on? Not any old ordinary mushrooms. This is a mushroom village. This is where the mushroom people live and have their little families, and that they live inside the mushrooms. Is it a bit odd that the mushroom people live inside bigger versions of themselves? Some may say yes. I think not. I think it's all perfectly fine and lovely. Anyway, what do I want to say? What do I want to say about it? Oh, I know what I want to say. Here we go, I'm about to say it. So for this digital piece, I wanted it to still have a sort of hand-rendered look. You'll see I switch between two sort of brushes. There's the, what's it called? I think on the computer it's called the fountain pen brush, which is basically just quite a flat colour, which I used for nearly all of it. And then I used another brush which has more like a crayon, had a more textured look, which I used for the background and the plants to kind of make it look like crayons. I quite like my illustrations to have a childlike feel to them, maybe like a child's drawn them. And when you're a kid, you use a lot of crayons, so there's that little link right there. Just because it gives it quite a charming little look, I feel, and I think the children will be more drawn to an illustration which reminds them of the drawings that they do. To finish off the illustration, I just added a few leaves here and there, and then I added 2 layers on top, one which was adding a tiny bit of lighting coming in from the, let me think right now, the top left corner, and then I added a colour over the top of the whole drawing, lowered the opacity and set the mode to, I think I had it on this setting called screen, where it basically turns all the colours just more so, I don't know how to explain it, you can see. It makes all the colours kind of closer to each other, so the palette's more cohesive. I just like the look of it. I like the look of it. That's good English, isn't it? I like the look of it. So moving on to Wednesday, and back to some good old traditional painting. I'm using acrylics, and you just saw then was, what do you call it? Thumbnails of just different colour ideas, and then I picked my favourite colour idea to turn into this painting, which you're seeing right now. For this painting, I wanted it to be quite flat and blocky and simple. There's not really any blending, and the colours are all layered on top of each other, and it's all very, very simple shapes. But I did I had quite a lot of fun doing it. So for the colours, I chose quite a dullish, greyish sort of blue for the background, because in the scene it's supposed to be raining, which is why little mushroom fella is hiding under the leaf looking all worried because it's wet and it's raining and she's not having a good time. And then for the foreground, is that right? Midground, foreground, background, yeah. For the foreground, I used more warm colours, orangish tones, so it would contrast well against the blue, because blue and orange are complementary colours. And I had the yellow just for a bit of a pop, for a bright colour to look at. The leaf that you're seeing right there, I ended up changing it because I didn't really like the bright green that I used. It was too distracting, and it just it was catching my eye, but not in a very good way. So I changed that you see. I just knocked the colour back. I did try drawing the details of the leaf on with just my yellow pencils, but it wasn't really showing up too well, so I ended up just using my white little gel pen to add on some highlights on the leaves, which I thought worked quite well. And then I just went on top of it with some coloured pencil to add in the rain and a few little details. I thought it was a cute little experiment. I do really like it, although I think I prefer my watercolour and colour pencil stuff a little bit more. Anyway, it's time for everybody's favourite part of the video, my friend Eleanor. She lives next to me in foundation. Well, actually, recently she just started sitting on the same desk as me because we just can't bear to be apart. But anyway, it's Eleanor's corner time. Let's see what she's up to, because she does foundation with me. She also does illustration, so if you like the stuff I'm doing, I'm sure you'll also enjoy Eleanor's work. So she's just giving us a little flip through of a book. Let me give you a little short rundown of what she's up to. She's doing illustration like me, but she's focusing on creating a cartoon, like a cartoon show. So she's coming up with all these characters, and she's come up with this whole lovely little story of these 3 kids. There they are. Their back garden isn't what it seems, but it's a mysterious back garden, and there is some shenanigans going on in that back garden. Anyway, there's a magic egg, there's an evil rat, there's all these little things going on. She's doing some good work. She also made an animation, a little flip book. Oh, I actually love it so much. She did a few other animations, and she's been working very hard on things, so if you want to see some more of her work, her Instagram is linked in the description. I highly recommend you have a little look at that, because she's good. Thursday, what's going on? The girls doing felting. Where's that come from? Whew, it's different from me. But actually, I really did enjoy doing it. What I was thinking is, because some children's books, well, quite a lot of children's books have a sort of tactile element to them. They'll have like maybe a fluffy bit that the kids can touch, just to add a bit more exciting stuff to it. So I thought it'd be nice to try and incorporate that into my book somehow. And then I also had the idea of maybe using this felted sort of background and then scanning it in and then drawing on top of it digitally. Just to see what it would look like, and just another experiment, and it's just a little bit different, and I really did enjoy doing it. So I tried felting, making my own felt, rolling it together like you just saw, and then I also did needle felting. And then on Friday I spent the whole day doing quite a lot of needle felting, but I didn't film it, but I'll show you the work I did from it. Also, I did a bunch of book stuff, so this is just some stuff I did in my book. I've been painting a lot of portraits just in my free time, so I've just included that in my book as well, if you're wondering what that is. Anyway, so back to my felting. So I rolled out some pieces, and they're just in the little plastic wallets looking all pretty. And I did this little piece, which I'm very, very happy with. I actually love it. I cannot tell you how long I was stabbing them pieces of felt for. I was stabbing it for like a solid 2 hours. That was my video, that was my week, and what a week it was, and I really do hope you enjoyed watching it, because I really do enjoy making these videos. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.